Hi guys, my name is Tiffany. I'm here to show you guys it's not hard to learn English, and I'm going to show it by teaching you guys through different ghost stories. Yeah, different ghost stories. Sounds good? Just to make it more interesting and for you to learn English easier, I thought I would tell ghost story and teach you through every part of it. So this is English ghost story and hopes you guys enjoyed it. The Justice Department is asking a federal judge to force the top two lawyers from Donald Trump's White House counsel's office to testify about their conversations with the former president as it tries to break through the privilege firewall Trump has used to avoid scrutiny of his action on January 6, 2021. According to three people familiar with the investigation, the move to compel additional testimony from former White House counsel Pat Cipollone and Deputy White House counsel Patrick Philippine just last week is part of a set of secret court proceedings. Trump has been fighting to keep former advisors from testifying before a criminal grand jury about certain conversations, citing executive and attorney-client privileges to keep information confidential or slow down criminal investigators. But the Justice Department successfully secured answers from top Vice President advisor Greg Jacob and Mark Short over the past 3 weeks in significant court victories that could make it more likely the criminal investigation reaches further into Trump's inner circle. Jacob's testimony on October 6, which has not been previously reported, is the first identifiable time when the confidentiality Trump has tried to maintain around the West Wing after the 2022 election has been pierced at the criminal probe following a court battle. A week after Jacob spoke to the grand jury again, Short has his own grand jury appearance date, CNN reported. All four men previously declined to answer some question about advice and interactions with Trump when they testified in recent months. In the secret criminal probe, Trump lost the court battles related to Jacob and Short before the chief judge of the trial levels, U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. last month. Attorneys for the men whom the DOJ is seeking to compel have declined to comment for this story or haven't responded to requests. A spokesman for the Justice Department also declined to comment. All four men have been willing to be as cooperative as the law demands, leaving Trump's team to handle the fight over certain details in the investigation, the sources say. The litigation around testimony may be important for investigators in the long run, given how close the pair was to the Trump leading up to and during the Capitol riot. Prosecutors are likely to aim for the grand jury to hear about their direct conversations with the then president. The dispute conducted under seal in court because they involve grand jury activity may also spawn several more court fights that will be crucial for prosecutors as they work to bring criminal charges related to Trump's post-elections efforts. Witnesses the federal grand jury has subpoenaed, such as former White House officials Mark Meadows, Eric Hirschman, David Dan Scavino, Stephen Miller, and campaign advisor Boris Epshteyn. also could decline to describe their conversations with Trump or advice being given to him after the election. Several sources familiar with the investigation say Trump and his allies have used claims of confidentiality, both executive privilege and attorney-client privilege, with mixed result in multiple legal quagmires that surround the former president. Those include the January 6th federal criminal investigation, the Mara A logo documents federal criminal investigation, Georgia Fulton County investigation of election meddling, and the House Select Committee probe of January 6th as well. Some of the privilege arguments Trump has raised has never been settled in federal court, and some of the fights could lead to the Supreme Court. Trump spokesman Taylor Budowich slammed the weaponized Justice Department in a statement and referred to the probes surrounding the former president as witch hunts. Court fight so far. According to the sources, the Justice Department won a trial-level judge order at the end of September that said Jacob and Short must testify and respond to certain questions over which Trump teams has tried to claim presidential and attorney-client. The sealed court case stemming from the grand jury works had been before the chief judge of the D.C. District Court, Barry Howell. Howell refused to put on hold Jacob and Short testimony while Trump team's appeal, a source said. The Trump team, meanwhile, took several days to respond to their loss before Howell in court. The Justice Department set a quick turnaround date for Jacob, leaving him to head into the grand jury under subpoena on October 6th, according to several sources. The D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is still considering legal arguments from Trump's defense lawyers and the Justice Department over his ability to make executive and attorney-client privilege claims. How that is resolved, either by the appeals court or even the Supreme Court, if Trump pursues it that far, could have significant consequences for the January 6th criminal investigation and for multiple witnesses who may be refusing to share some of what they know because of Trump's privilege claims. Among a large group of former top Trump officials, Jacob has been one of the most stirring voices condemning the then president's actions after the election, especially regarding the pressure he and his election attorney John Eastman tried to place on then Vice President Mike Pence to block the congressional certification of the presidential vote. Jacob has been a harsh critic of Eastman, who is also of interest to prosecutors dating back to when Eastman tried to convince Pence's office the vice president alone could override the vote. He told Eastman at the time the right-wing attorney was a serpent in the ear of the president and wrote while Trump supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, thanks to your bullshit. Thanks to your bullshit, we are now under sick. Okay. Jacob added to a parade of star witnesses at Public House Select Committee hearings this summer, speaking candidly about his disgust with what he witnesses inside the White House complex from his high-ranking positions administration. There is almost no idea more un-America than the notion that any one person would choose to the American president and then unbroken historical practice for 230 years that the vice president did not have such an authority. Jacob testified in July. But what Jacob and Short knew of Trump's conversation, they wouldn't disclose to the House nor to the grand jury until this month. In a taped House Select Committee depositions, he answered many questions about what happened inside the West Wing on January 6, but declined to describe communication between him and Trump. President Joe Biden has repeatedly declined to assert executive privilege around January 6 information, essentially leaving the fight for Trump to wage opposite the Justice Department. While the courts will look at each situation individually, his story isn't on Trump's side. Federal prosecutors investigating former President Bill Clinton and Richard Nixon were able to overcome attorney-client privilege assertions for White House counsels as well as executive privilege assertions, so the grand jury could hear closely guarded information. Matthew Perry reflects on his relationship with Julia. Matthew Perry reflects on his relationship with Julia Roberts and why he ended. Matthew Perry reflects on his relationship with Julia Roberts and why he ended. Matthew Perry opens up in his new book about his attention-getting relationship with Julia Roberts in the mid-90s and the reason it came to an end. The actor recalls in his new memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, according to an excerpt published by the Times of London, that Roberts expressed interest in appearing on Friends, but she would only do the show if she could be in Chandler's storyline. At the urging of Friends creator Marta Kaufman, Perry sent Roberts 3 dozen roses and a wedding card in an effort to woo the Pretty Woman star to take the job. Thus began a 3-month-long courtship by daily faxes that was pre-internet, pre-cell phones, and all our exchange were done by fax. And there were many hundred, Perry writes, going on to describe how 3 or 4 times a day I would sit by my fax machine and watch the piece of paper slowly revealing her next missive. Soon the faxes were romantic, leading to 5-hour phone conversations before the pair had even met face to face. Finally, Roberts showed up at Perry's door. When I opened it, there she was. There was a smiling Julia Roberts on the other side. I believe I said something like, "Oh, that Julia Roberts," Perry says in the memoir, recalling his Chandler-style reaction. From there, the pair quickly began a relationship and were a couple when Roberts appeared in Friends episode that was set to air after the Super Bowl. Perry goes on to describe some of the sweeter moments during their short-lived romance, including a visit to Roberts' families in Taos, New Mexico for New Year's 1996. But 2 months later, I was single. Dating Julia Roberts had been too much for me. I have been constantly I had been constantly certain that she was going to break up with me. Why would she not? Um, Alluding to his crippling issues that he identifies as the core of his part addictive behavior. Perry adds, I was not enough. I could never be enough. I was broken, bent, unlovable. So instead of facing the inevitable agony of losing her, I broke up with the beautiful and brilliant Julia Roberts. In his memoir, Perry also discusses his struggle with alcohol and addiction and what ultimately led him to sobriety. I wanted to share when I was safe from going into the dark side of everything again. Perry recently told people of the new book. I had to wait until I was pretty safely sober and away from the active disease of alcoholism and addiction to write it all down. And the main thing was I was pretty certain that it would help people. Try and maybe if you try to watch it, the whole video, that would be very. I would be very I would appreciate that a lot. I would very appreciate that a lot. So thank you. Priyanka Chopra shared cruel pics with happy Nick Jonas from a wedding party. Actress looks ethereal in red gown. Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas recently attended a wedding party. Recently attended a wedding party, and they stole the show with their super hot avatars. A few hours ago, Priyanka and Nick both took to social media and shared a slew of pics from the party. Priyanka and Nick are one of the most gorgeous celebrity couples who often shell shell out major couple goals. They have a huge fan following on social media, and the duo keeps their fans updated by sharing sneak peeks from their daily lives. Their hot and romantic pics frequently go viral. Priyanka and Nick attended Connie Chang and Jesse M. Powell's wedding. Taking to Instagram, Priyanka wrote, to witness the beautiful union of two wonderful people always gets me. Connie and Jesse, your love is so beautiful. May you always have joy and happiness in your life. Thank you for inviting us to be part of it. Also, Tiluhu and Kevin Nath James, damn, I miss y'all. Fans and celebrities shows their love with comments and compliments soon after the diva dropped the pics on social media. Priyanka looked drop dead gorgeous in a red bodycon dress, while Nick looked hot in a gray tuxedos. As they took a selfie, Priyanka could be seen holding Nick's hand. Priyanka went around posing with numerous friends and taking selfies. Furthermore, the actor took a close-up selfie in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Taking to Instagram, Nick wrote, congrats to Connie and Jess on a beautiful wedding. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day. He posted two pics with Priyanka and one with the bride, groom, and PC. Speaking of Priyanka professional front, she last appeared in the Matrix Restorations. She has a couple of projects in the pipeline. She'll be next seen in It's All Coming Back to Me. Ending things, she has a Farham Bollywood film and alongside Alia Bhatt and Katrina Kaif. BTS Jin leaves army speechless as he visits flea market in expensive shearling jacket costing 5.19 lakh. Mr. Worldwide Handsome never misses. It doesn't matter where he's going. Jin always look his best. Be it a formal gathering or a casual meetup, the BTS members' fashion will surely be on point. While that is true for all occasions, the global star has its choice style even when he is visiting a flea market. The singer will manage to turn even a place like that into his personal runway. For those who may not know, Seokjin was recently spotted at the Ganghwa flea market with chef Big Jong Won. Pics of them posing with the vendors there went viral on social media. These two were seen trying to shop for various items. The attention was on the fact that there were cameras around them. Now, cameras can only mean one thing. We have another very show appearance on the way. Army was quick to point out that this can be for Jongwon's YouTube series, Go to Market, in which he introduced markets all over the country and he's got the idol as the next guest. In the pics, Jean can be seen sporting a denim fur jacket over a half turtleneck shirt and blue trousers to complete his look. We have to say his style was quite the standout here. Take a look at the photo. Fans will remember seeing the BTS member in this jacket before, but if you are intrigued by it and would like to have it in your wardrobe as well, let us warn you, it will not come easy. That is a shearling line oversized fit denim jacket made in Italy straight from Bottega Veneta. It cost a whooping like a lot. So yes, that is indeed the price of that jacket. It blew our minds for real, but like always, what matters is Jim pulled it off with ease. In fact, he took it up a notch. Mamamoo to soon embark on a world tour surprises fans with an announcement. Fans of the K-pop group Mamamoo are having the time of their lives. After making a comeback with a new album, the ladies are now all set for something else as well. Yes, they are still have a lot more in store for everyone. For those who don't know, the band dropped their 12th mini album titled Make On and on October 11 along with the music videos for the title track. They left everyone awestruck, awestruck by showcasing a different side in the MV. The latest news is that Mamamoo will soon embark on a world tour while the speculative announcement for the same was made back in June. The confirmation comes now. Back then, it was said that the tour will happen in the later half of the year. Since we are way into October, it only makes sense that the details have been dropped now. The update was shared by none other than the members themselves. During their recent comeback showcase, the girls spoke about the album as well as their future schedule. We plan to finally meet the world 8 years after our debut, Solar added. The RBW Entertainment Group also revealed that they were planning for the tour a long time back, but COVID happened and it got postponed. They further add that since it is finally happening now, they cannot wait to be able to meet international fans as well. As for the details of the date and stops, they will be revealed in the coming days. We only got the confirmation announcement, but let us agree that even this for now will do. As much as fans eagerly await all the information, they are super excited about the tour as is was long in the process. Stay tuned for more updates. K-pop group Jidol call out an antis in teaser for Dark X-File from upcoming album I Love Watch. Jidol tackles issues in the most creative ways, be it with their lyrics or concepts. The K-pop girl group has never felt to impress netizens with their bold statements, taking a dig at haters in their latest teasers for their upcoming album. The girl group seems to have a lot to say. In case you missed out, Jidol are set to make a comeback with their fifth mini-album, I Love. This marked their first comeback in almost 7 months, following the release of their first full-length album, I Never Die, in March this year. I Never Die was the group's first comeback as the quintet following the sudden departure of former members Sojin, even so the group's popularity remained unaffected. Writing off the massive success of their previous album, the girl group seemed to be addressing rumors made during the times when they were on a hiatus and lost a member. In the latest teaser for their upcoming album, members are seen sipping drinks and reading articles about them. From tense to speculation about their future, the girl group faced massive backlash last year, showing a sense of vulner, vulnerable, vulnerability in Dark X-File. The girls weren't afraid to speak about their past. Take a look at the stunning teaser. Earlier this year, during her appearance on NBC popular reality show I Live Alone, Jidol leader So-yeon said she wanted the group's upcoming comeback to reflect the quote, "I'd rather be hated for being myself than be loved as someone I am not." And it seems the girl group are trying to convey So-yeon ideas for their upcoming release. Meanwhile, the girl group recently wrapped up a major portion of their first world tour, Just Me, Idol. Kicking off on June 17 in Seoul, Jidol toured across Asia, North America, and Latin America. What is China Communist Party Congress and why does it matter? Xi Jinping is poised to cement his role as China's most powerful leader in decades this month, when members of the country's ruling Communist Party meet for twice-a-decade leadership reshuffle. In recent years, these meetings have seen a streamlined transfer of power. The convention is for the top party leader, having completed the two 5-year terms, to pass the baton to a carefully chosen successor. But this year, Xi is expected to smash that precedent, taking on the third term as general secretary of the party and pitching China into a new era of strongman rule and uncertainty over when or how the country would see another leader. As a result, the 20th Party Congress is almost the most consequential and closely watched party meetings in decades, and will reveal much about the direction of the world's second-largest economy for the next 5 years. Here's what you need to know about the events and how China chooses its leaders. What is the Party Congress? The Chinese Communist Party National Congress, known simply as the Party Congress, is a roughly week-long conclave that meets once every 5 years to appoint new leaders, discuss changes to the party constitution, and lay out a policy agenda for the country. The Congress itself, typically held in October or November, convenes nearly 2,030 100 carefully selected Communist Party members, called delegates from around the country. These delegates range from top provincial officials and military officers to professionals across sectors and a so-called grassroots representative like farmers and industrial workers. Just over a quarter are women, while about 11% come from ethnic minorities, according to figures released ahead of this year's Congress. Unveiled students returned to school for the first time after mass shooting that killed 21st. I want to just shelter her as a mom, just keep her home. But of course I don't want her to live in fear, said the mother of one student in Texas community. Students and teachers returned to school Tuesday in the heartbroken community of Uvalde, Texas, for the first time since 19 children and 2 educators were killed during a mass shooting at an elementary school in May. As children return to the classroom, the town continues to mourn those who were killed and demand accountability in deadly shooting at Robb Elementary School, during which law enforcement officers waited more than an hour before entering a 4th grade classroom where the gunman carried out the attack. The first day brought anguish for parents whose children died in the massacre. Stephen Gracia, whose 9-year-old daughter Elena was killed, said he was an emotional wreck Tuesday morning and felt a surge of anger. I couldn't find the tears, but then I thought back to my Ellie and know she wouldn't want me to feel that way, he wrote in a post on social media. Thinking of all the first day of school with my Ellie, no one expects to have to bury their child after leaving them at school, he said in another post. Jennifer Lugo, Ellie's mother, said in a post the night before the first day of school that her stomach was in a big knot, and she was sure the family would be leaving the house with tears and not smiles. I'm missing one of my babies, she said, adding that Ellie loved school and was always excited to get up and get ready with her sister. Kimberly and Felix Rubio, whose daughter Lexi was killed, said ahead of the first day of school that they were frightened for their for their 5 other children. I don't know that the school district has done everything that I would like to see as far as security measures, but I also know it's important for the kids to have some sort of routine, so trying to balance what's best for them, Kimberly said. Lexi has been on her mind, she said, and meeting her youngest son's teacher was incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult to go on campus knowing that Lexi is not going to be meeting a teacher this year, Kimberly said. Students across the state were marooned to school Tuesday as part of the UVA community. Robb Elementary has not reopened since the shooting, and its surviving student has been scattered to different schools in the area. The school district also added virtual options this year for parents who didn't feel comfortable sending their children back into classroom. Parents arriving at some local school Tuesday morning were greeted with taller fences, increased security and cameras, a large law enforcement presence, more counselors, and even emotional support dogs. Outside Dalton Elementary School in Uvalde, Easter said that one of her children had attended Robb Elementary at the time of the shooting and had received counseling because she was traumatized. But Natalie, whose children are 7 and 8 years old, says she felt safer with the added security measure. I'm on the positive side, so I hope that what happened last year won't happen again, she said. For right now, I think they are in good hands. Pre-kindergarten teacher Belinda Remise says she wasn't nervous about the start of the school year in the shadow of the tragedy. She's happy that school is starting again, but also just a bit sad for the kids, she said. Her nephew attended Robb Elementary last school year. We asked him and he just stayed quiet. So I know he's a bit nervous, but we are happy that school is starting back up, and when we start, I think it will get all better, she said. We have to just continue to move forward. Late last month, Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo was fired by Texas City's school board, which voted unanimously to oust him. The embattled chief removed capped 3 months of outrage over the botched law enforcement response to the shooting at Robb Elementary. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds passed from the time police entered the building May 24 until the gunman was killed, Texas Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw has said. A scathing report released in July by Texas House Committee investigating the mass shooting found systemic failures and poor decision making by law enforcement and the school district. And her husband Julio have made helping their 10-year-old daughters return to school a priority. The girl, Madison, was at Robb Elementary the day of the shooting. The family has enrolled Madison in a private school, which they say made safety upgrades after the shooting. I want to just shelter her as a mom and just keep her home, but of course, I don't want her to live in fear, she said. Here's what you need to know about Liz Truss, Britain's new leader. Sometime compared to the UK's first female leader, Margaret Thatcher, Truss has also been accused of being a political killman. London as a girl and a young woman, Liz Truss protests against then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and called for the abolition of the monarchy. Decades later, having risen through the ranks of Thatcher's Conservative Party, Truss, 47, on Tuesday was appointed to the United Kingdom Prime Minister by Queen Elizabeth II. As she headed to No 10 Downing Street, Truss looks eager to rule in the image of the famously blunt and strong-willed iconoclast whose legacy still divides this country. Her victory means she will become the country's third female leader, after Thatcher and Theresa May. The Iron Lady, as Thatcher was known, was the 20th century's longest-serving British leader and birthed an ideology, Thatcherism, that still dominates the party with its low tax, high-growth economic liberalism. Serving as primer from 1979 to 1990. When she was forced to resign by her own government, Thatcher was a strident cold warrior and a supporter of free markets, and especially close to President Ronald Reagan, one of Britain's most divisive prime minister, revile and revert in almost equal measure to this day. She's best known for her policies. She's best known for her policy on deregulation, privatizing state-owned companies, and smashing the power of unions. She died in 2013. Whether international or not, observers and the public have pointed out Truss appears to have a habit of recreating iconic Thatcher public appearance. While serving as Foreign Secretary Secretary Truss was accused of consciously mirroring Thatcher by posing in a Challenger 2 tank while visiting British troops in Estonia. A famous picture of Thatcher in a Challenger tank in Germany in 1986, when visiting Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at the Kremlin in February. She wore a fox fur hat that again was compared to that worn by Thatcher on a Russia trip in 1987. During the Conservative leadership contest, Truss wore an outfit strikingly similar to one Thatcher had worn for an election broadcast in 1979, a black blazer and a white shirt with a bow tie at the front. For Truss critics, the similarities to Thatcher's are the best premature and worst ludicrous. I don't think there is anything in it. They're completely different people. Truss supporter Andrea Andino, 55, insisted outside the venue where Truss was announced the new leader of the Conservative Party on Monday. Andino wore a t-shirt in Liz with Truss. She's different. I don't think she will follow Thatcher in any way, she added. Timothy Kirkhope, a Conservative member of the upper chamber of the British Parliament, also dismissed the comparison, but for different reasons. I regard any comparison between Truss and Thatcher as derisory, he said in an email. I worked as a government whip under Margaret Thatcher. She was a colossus in politics. There is absolutely no way that Truss could ever get anywhere near the achievements of Thatcher, he said. Truss herself complained to BBC Radio 4 in July that women tend to get compared to Thatcher whether they resemble her or not. I'm on my own person, she said. James Cleverly, who served as an education minister under Boris Johnson, echoes these sentiments. She's a woman in politics, though comparisons are inevitable, and he said, she is Liz Truss, she's her own person. To those of us who have studied Thatcher, she's hardly in the same league, at least on current form, said Professor Tim Bell, an expert on British politics and the Conservative Party at Queen Mary University of London. While Thatcher was regarded then and now was a conviction politician who embodied her beliefs, Truss has been accused of being a political chameleon, flip-flopping on major policies and criticized for lacking hard and fast principles. She was an activist for the centrist Liberal Democrat Party as a college student. We do not believe people are born to be ruled. She said while arguing passionately for the abolition of the monarchy at the party conference in 1994, a testament to just how far she has traveled politically. Truss campaigned for Britain to remain in the European Union, only flip side and later support Brexit once the country has voted to leave in 2016. The commitment to Brexit and unlocking its supposed benefits is now a core pillar of her platform, an attitude that could lead to a heated and expensive legal battle with the European Union and the Republic of Ireland over the complex of Northern Ireland Protocol. While Truss said during the Brexit referendum campaign that Britain shouldn't spend years in massive divorce from Europe, she may be about to preside over exactly this. Born in Norfolk in 1975, Mary Elizabeth Truss is the daughter of John Kenneth, a math professor at the University of Leeds, and Priscilla Truss, a nurse. In the biography section of her website, she described her parents as left-wing. When she was 4, the family relocated to Paisley, a town near Glasgow in Scotland. They moved again in 1985 to the northern English city of Leeds in West Yorkshire. Truss frequently refers to herself as a Yorkshire woman. Yorkshire woman, a falsy attempt to contract her upbringing with the largely affluent Southern English background of many conservative members and activists. Throughout her leadership campaign, Truss said her vision of conservatism was inspired by seeing fellow students at the local public high school struggling in an overly bureaucratic failing system. Many of the children I was at school with were let down by low expectations, poor education standards, and a lack of opportunity, she said at her leadership launch July 14. Former student and staff at Raleigh and also local politicians dispute Truss' portrayal, accusing her of unfairly meddling the school for political gain. It is located in one of the most affluent areas of Leeds, and it certainly could never be described fairly as a sink school, he said via email, referring to British terminology for a failing and underachieving school. Her contentions about her deprived background as the daughter of the university professor are a load of nonsense, Crithope said. After graduating from Oxford in 1969, she abandoned the Liberal Democrats and joined the Conservative Party, the dismay of her left-leaning father. He was quite horrified, she told the Times newspaper in 2012. After college, Truss worked as a graduate trainee accountant for the energy giant Shell and later the telecommunications company Cable and Wireless. In 2000, she married fellow accountant Hugh O'Leary, and they have two daughters. After a youth of on the center-left university prime trust for conservation to the right, I met Tories and I realized that they didn't have two heads and were actually good people, she told the Daily Mail in 2019. Truss stood as a Tory candidate in the election of 2001 and 2005, losing both times. It would take another 5 years before she was finally elected as the MP for South West Norfolk. Truss has served in various cabinet positions since 2012 under the governments of David Cameron, Theresa May, and Johnson. It was under Johnson that she was promoted to foreign minister, one of the most powerful positions in government. Truss was leading the transitions to a post-Brexit trading rim and forging new diplomatic ties. The Conservative Party may have ditched Johnson, but his brand of populism looks set to stay under the new prime minister. She stayed loyal to Johnson. She told the membership that they want to hear on the economy and taxations rather than any hard truths. She is a fierce Brexiteer and an anti-woke warrior, Bell said. Truss may be compared to Thatcher, but her critics believe she has much more in common with her predecessor. I regret that a Liz Truss premiership would be a continuation of the Boris Johnson style, Kipper said. A Truss government would be even more divisive and include individuals who are notable only for their extreme or eccentric view, he said. Steve Bannon expected to face state indictment in New York. The Manhattan DA office had opened an investigation into Bannon in connection with his role in a charity that was supposed to use private funds to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Almost 2 years after he received a pardon from President Donald Trump in a federal fraud case, Steve Bannon is expected to face state indictment in New York. In a segment first shared with NBC News on Tuesday night, Bannon said New York has now decided to pursue phony charges against me 60 days before the midterm election. This is nothing more than a Persian political weaponization of the criminal justice system, added Bannon, who once was the chief White House strategist in the Trump administration. The statement came after the Washington Post, citing people familiar with the situation, reported that Bannon planned to surrender Thursday. ABC News has asked the Manhattan District Attorney Office for comment. The district attorney office last year opened an investigation into Brennan in connection with his role in a charity that was supposed to use private funds to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall, NBC News reported in February 2021. The previous year, Brennan was indicted with 3 other people on charges of taking money donated to help build a wall along the southern border. Federal prosecutors alleged that Bannon's "We Build the Wall" campaign, which raised more than $25 million, defrauded hundreds of thousands of donors who contributed to an effort to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, one of Trump's key campaign promises. Trump pardoned Bannon in January 2021, but presidential pardons apply only to federal charges, meaning New York is not prohibited from pursuing similar charges. I am proud to be a leading voice on protecting our borders, and building a wall to keep our country safe from drugs and violent criminals, Bannon said in Tuesday night's statement. They are coming after all of us, not only President Trump and myself. I am never going to stop fighting. In fact, I have not yet begun to fight. They will have to kill me first. Separately, Bannon was convicted of contempt of Congress after he refused to answer questions from the House January 6 committee. A jury found him guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress in July. A woman jumped from a moving car after being kidnapped by a man who asked for water, authorities say. Jeremy Alaska, 31, is accused of holding the woman at knife point in Washington state. Authorities in Washington state identified a suspect Tuesday who they say carjacked a woman and held her at knife point until she escaped by jumping from a moving car. The woman had given water to Jeremy Alaska, 31, after he approached her vehicle asking for some in an incident that began in Vancouver, Washington. Early Saturday, the Clark County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. Alaska is expected to be charged with kidnapping, robbery, and attempted eluding after he fled from officers, the sheriff's office said. The woman, who has not been identified, told authorities after she gave Alaska water, she allowed him into her car. Alaska produced a knife and used the threat of violence to take control of the car, the release alleged, adding that he drove roughly 15 miles to the city of Camas. Alaska slowed down on a dirt road, authorities said, and the woman jumped from the car and started banging on the doors of the nearby homes. A resident, James Wood, told NBC affiliate KGW of Portland, Oregon, that he and his family awoke around 4:30 a.m. to the sound of a woman pounding on the back door of his home and moving the doorknob. She was desperate to get in, which I can't understand, Wood told the station. She told me that someone tried to kill her and someone stole her car. Was told the station that he called 911 after deputies searched the area and found the car. The driver fled, according to the release. 11 minutes later, and about 8 miles away, authorities from the sheriff's office and the Vancouver Police Department were able to pin the car. And the release says Alaska was taken into custody after he tried to flee the vehicle. The release says he refused to provide his name and was identified through other names. The sheriff's office says it wasn't immediately clear whether he has a lawyer to speak on his behalf. Police say that they have found.
Turning now to breaking news in the investigation of that missing Memphis jogger and mother of two. Police confirmed today the body of 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher has.
Police say that they have found the remains of missing jogger Eliza Fletcher. Memphis authorities have confirmed a body found during the search for Eliza Fletcher was identified as the 34-year-old woman who was abducted during a run Friday morning. NBC News just Chris reports on the news details police have released and the latest charges against the suspect charged with kidnapping Fletcher. And that is the end for today. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya. Oh, and by the way, all the tips I gave you last time, I hope it worked, because it worked for me, and I think that it worked for most people with average memory. I myself have average memory, and I couldn't learn anything besides English because I hate everything. I hate every subject besides English. The only thing that I find English is interesting because it was another language, and I hate math. I hate math. I especially hate math, and I don't want to, calculate anything, and I not good at calculating things. So that's why I hate math. And about English is that when I was small, when I was about 9 years old, I watched Disney Channel a lot, and that is when I know I like English, because Disney Channel is all about English. If you don't understand English, so yeah, I watch it, and although I don't understand a word it was saying about what is the movie about and what it's called, I just remember the melody. Phineas the Verb, right? I just remember that the song in the intro song, right from the start. I remember the melody, the way they pronounce, but I don't know for sure how they pronounce it. So I just remember the melody and I sing along. So that is when I remember all the stuff and all the words that I accidentally remember by remembering the melody. So when I said that music can help you a lot, I mean it. So if you guys try it, and if you have any, positive resolve, comment below, and follow for more if you like my tips and you find it effective. So yeah, thank you and goodbye. Oh, one more thing. I also like English, and I only good at speaking, and I'm not good at grammar. Yeah, I also not good at grammar. I only good at speaking because I can, mumbling to the sound, and like for example, they sing like what's going on, so I will like mama mama. I remember the sound. I don't remember what they're saying, and I don't know what they're saying, but I remember the sound. So when I grow up, it means when I was in secondary school or something like that, I learned it and I know, oh, so that's what it is, that what it was about, and yeah, that's how I learned it. And I only good at speaking because I remember the basic words, the basic step that they say. For example, hello, how are you? How are you today? You're good? Are you good? How are you today? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Like just basic stuff, and I get better and better through movies. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if I could help you with that, but I think for myself, I'm getting better, and you have to learn. You you cannot learn English without learning it. You know, without actually learning it. So you have to put time and effort into learning stuff, and eventually it will come out great. It will get you a positive result and a a very good result that you want. So don't give up and don't lose trust in yourself, especially when you find it hard. Just took a break. Just take a break and get some air, go outside, have fun with your friends for a day if you're feeling stressed about studying stuff. And after that, you get it together and yeah, just study, dude. That's it.